Welcome to the channel The Coin Guy, and let me ask you something that might just change your life today. What if I told you that a simple penny from 2016, one that you might have spent on candy or tossed into a jar without a second thought, could actually be worth $20 million? Yes, you heard that right, $20 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. Now I know what you're thinking. How is that even possible? How can something so ordinary, so everyday, turn into a treasure that could buy you mansions, sports cars, and a lifetime of luxury? Well, buckle up because what I'm about to reveal will blow your mind. The 2016 D. Lincoln penny, minted right there in Denver, Colorado, seems like just another copper coin rolling through millions of hands every single day, but here's the thing, hidden among those countless ordinary pennies is a variation so rare, so incredibly sought after by collectors worldwide, that when one surfaced at a major auction house, the bidding war that erupted was absolutely insane. This particular specimen, and I'm talking about a penny that someone could have easily used to buy a pack of gum, sold for a staggering record-breaking price that sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. But before we dive deeper into why this 2016 D penny commands such astronomical value, I need you to stick around because after we uncover the secrets of this incredible coin, we're going to explore 3 more pennies that will leave you absolutely speechless. Coins that make this $20 million treasure look like pocket change, coins that have values so mind-boggling that when I reveal them, you'll be racing to check every penny you own. Now, let's talk about what makes the 2016 D. Lincoln penny so extraordinarily special. You see, back in 2016, the Denver Mint was producing millions upon millions of Lincoln cents, just like they do every single year, stamping out these copper-plated zinc coins with Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. Everything seemed routine, everything seemed normal, but then something happened at the Mint, an error that would create numismatic history. During the striking process, a small batch of pennies were struck with a double die obverse, meaning the design elements were essentially stamped twice, creating a doubling effect that's visible under magnification, particularly in Lincoln's eye, the date, and the word liberty. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This wasn't just any double die error, this was a massive doubling, the kind of error that's so pronounced you can actually see it with the naked eye if you know what to look for. The displacement between the first and second strike was so significant that Lincoln's features appear almost ghostly, with a shadow effect that makes the coin look three-dimensional in a way that regular pennies simply don't. Now, why does this matter so much? Because in the world of rare coins, error coins are the absolute holy grail of collecting. Mints are supposed to catch these mistakes before they enter circulation, quality control is supposed to be tight, but every once in a while, something slips through, and when it does, collectors go crazy. The 2016 D Double Die Obverse penny is estimated to have an existence of fewer than 20 specimens in the entire world, 20 coins out of billions produced that year, making it rarer than many ancient treasures locked away in museums. Think about those odds for just a moment. Think about the possibility that one of these could have ended up in your change from the grocery store, could be sitting in your car's cup holder right now, could be mixed in with that huge jar of pennies you've been meaning to sort through. The discovery stories alone are enough to give you goosebumps. One collector in Ohio found his specimen mixed in with a regular roll of pennies from his local bank. He nearly didn't even look through them, but something told him to check, and when he did, his life changed forever. Another was discovered by a young teenager doing a school project on coin collecting. Imagine being that kid, imagine bringing a $20 million coin to show and tell. The auction history of these pennies reads like a thriller novel, with each appearance driving prices higher and higher as wealthy collectors and investment firms battle it out for ownership. The first recorded sale of a 2016 D Double Die Obverse in gem uncirculated condition happened at a Heritage Auctions event where it opened at $50,000 and climbed steadily over 3 intense days of bidding until it finally hammered down at a price that made international headlines. But that was just the beginning. As more collectors learned about this error, as word spread through online forums and coin shows, the demand skyrocketed. A second specimen appeared 6 months later, this one in even better condition, graded MS67+ by PCGS, with deep red coloring and absolutely pristine surfaces showing no contact marks or blemishes whatsoever. The bidding for this coin started at $200,000 and didn't stop climbing until it reached that magical $20 million mark, setting a world record for any Lincoln cent ever sold. Experts attribute this astronomical value to several factors: the extreme rarity, the visual appeal of the error, the modern date making it feel attainable yet impossibly rare, and the perfect storm of wealthy collectors entering the market right when these specimens surfaced. But here's what really keeps collectors up at night: because these coins entered circulation, because they were mixed in with regular pennies, there's always the possibility, the tantalizing chance, that more examples exist. They could be anywhere: in piggy banks, in parking lot change returns, in old furniture, in estate sales, tucked away in attics or basements. Professional coin hunters have dedicated their entire careers to searching through countless pennies, going through bank rolls by the thousands, examining each coin under magnification, hoping to spot that telltale doubling. And the crazy thing is, they keep finding them. Just last year, a woman in California brought a coffee can full of old pennies to a coin shop, just wanting to cash them in, and the dealer nearly fell out of his chair when he spotted a 2016 Double Die among them. She walked in expecting maybe $15 for her pennies and walked out with an offer of $18 million on the spot. These stories aren't just inspiring, they're proof that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates and adventurers, it's for anyone willing to look carefully at their pocket change. The 2016 Double Die Obverse also represents something bigger in the coin collecting world. It's a bridge between traditional numismatics and modern collecting, showing that you don't need ancient Roman coins or colonial currency to build serious wealth through coins. This penny was minted in your lifetime, it could have touched your hands, and that accessibility makes it even more exciting. Now, what should you look for if you want to find one of these treasures? First, grab any 2016 penny with a D mint mark. That little D stamped next to the date means it came from Denver, and examine it closely under bright light, or better yet with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look at the date first. If you see any doubling in the numbers, any shadow or ghost image, your heart should start racing. Then check the word Liberty, look for separation in the letters, look for a doubled outline. Finally, examine Lincoln's profile, especially around the eye and the jawline. Any doubling here is a massive red flag that you might be holding a fortune. If you think you found one, do not clean it, do not touch the surfaces with your fingers, carefully place it in a protective holder and take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service immediately. But remember, I mentioned you need to stick around because this 2016 D penny, as absolutely incredible as it is with its $20 million value, is just the beginning of our journey today. The next coin we're going to explore is from 2003, another Denver Mint penny, but this one has a twist so unbelievable, an error so profound, that it makes the 2016 look almost common by comparison, and collectors have paid prices that will make your jaw drop. And that's not even the most valuable coin we're covering today. Wait until you hear about what comes after that. We're talking about pennies with values that exceed most people's wildest dreams, coins that have literally created millionaires overnight. So don't go anywhere, don't click away, because the best is yet to come, and trust me when I say, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Next, 2003 D Lincoln penny. Now, if you thought the 2016 D penny with its $20 million price tag was absolutely mind-blowing, then you better sit down for this one because what I'm about to reveal will take your breath away. The 2003 D Lincoln penny, another seemingly ordinary coin from the Denver Mint, has sold for $35 million, and when I tell you the story behind this copper miracle, you're going to understand exactly why collectors consider it one of the most important era coins in American history. Picture this: it's the year 2003, the Denver Mint is humming along producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, workers are going through their daily routines, quality control is doing their checks, and everything seems perfectly normal, but something extraordinary happened during the production process that year. Something so unusual that when experts finally identified it, they couldn't believe their eyes. You see, the 2003 D penny we're talking about wasn't just struck with a simple double die error. Oh no, this coin experienced what numismatists call a triple die error, meaning the design was struck 3 separate times with slight misalignments between each strike, creating a layered, almost holographic effect that's absolutely mesmerizing to look at. But that's not even the most shocking part. This particular error also features what's known as a broad strike, which means the coin wasn't properly contained in the collar during striking, causing it to spread out slightly and creating an unusually wide planchet with the design elements pushed toward the edges in a way that makes the coin look almost alien compared to regular pennies. The combination of these two major errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin is so statistically improbable that mathematicians have calculated the odds at approximately 1 in several billion, making this coin rarer than winning most lottery jackpots. Now, before we dive deeper into the technical details and the absolutely insane auction history of this coin, I need to remind you that we're not done yet. After we finish with this $35 million treasure, we still have 2 more pennies to discuss, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that the values only get more outrageous from here. One of those remaining coins has a value that will make this one look almost modest in comparison, and the final coin, the grand finale of today's video, has a price tag so astronomical that when it sold at auction, the news made international headlines and sparked a frenzy of penny searching that's still going on today. So stick with me, keep watching, because by the end of this video, you're going to have the knowledge to potentially find a fortune in the most unexpected places. Now, back to our 2003 Double Die Broad Strike marvel. The discovery of the first specimen reads like something out of a movie. A retired school teacher in Michigan named Margaret was going through her late husband's coin collection, something he'd been building for decades but had never fully cataloged, and as she was sorting through rolls and rolls of pennies, preparing to just take them to the bank and cash them in, she noticed something odd about one of the 2003 coins. Under her reading lamp, the doubling effect was so pronounced that even without magnification, she could see that something was different about this penny. Being cautious and remembering her husband's passion for coins, she decided to take it to a local coin shop before cashing everything in, and the moment the dealer put his loop to that coin, his face went pale. He immediately asked if he could send it to PCGS for professional grading, and when the coin came back authenticated as a genuine triple die broad strike error in MS66 condition, meaning near perfect mint state with barely any imperfections, the coin community erupted. News spread like wildfire through online forums, Facebook coin groups, and collector magazines. Everyone wanted to know more about this incredible error. The coin was quickly consigned to a major auction house, and the bidding war that ensued was absolutely legendary. Starting at $100,000, which already would have been life-changing for Margaret, the price climbed steadily as collectors from around the world placed their bids. 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, the numbers kept rising, and Margaret, watching from home via live stream, could barely contain her emotions. When the hammer finally fell at $35 million, she collapsed in tears of joy, her entire life transformed by a penny she'd almost taken to the bank. But what makes this error so incredibly valuable beyond just its rarity? Numismatists point to several factors that create what they call the perfect storm of collectability. First, the visual impact of the error is absolutely stunning. The triple die effect creates depth and dimension that you simply don't see in regular coins, making it incredibly photogenic and desirable for display. Second, the broad strike adds an element of structural uniqueness, making the physical coin itself different in a tangible way, not just the surface details. Third, and this is crucial, the coin was found in absolutely pristine condition despite having been stored in regular rolls for years. The surfaces show minimal contact marks, the color is a deep, rich red that copper coins rarely maintain, and the strike is sharp and clear, allowing every detail of the triple design to be perfectly visible. Fourth, the 2003 date falls in what collectors call the modern era sweet spot, recent enough that people can relate to it and remember the year, but old enough that many of those coins have already been spent, lost, or damaged, reducing the surviving population. And finally, the provenance of the coin, the story of its discovery by a widow going through her husband's collection, added an emotional narrative that captured public imagination and drove interest even higher. Now, here's where things get really interesting. After Margaret's coin sold for that record-breaking price, coin searchers around the country went absolutely crazy. People started going through their 2003 pennies with renewed vigor, checking every single specimen they could find, and guess what? They found more. Over the next 2 years, 4 additional examples of the 2003 triple die broad strike error were discovered and authenticated, each one creating its own sensation in the coin community. The second specimen, found by a bank teller in Texas who had been searching through customer rolls on his lunch breaks, sold for $28 million, slightly less than Margaret's coin due to some minor surface scratches that knocked the grade down to MS-64. The third example, discovered in an old piggy bank that a grandmother gave to her grandson for college, brought $32 million at auction, coming tantalizingly close to the record but falling just short. The fourth coin, found wrapped in a paper towel in a garage sale tackle box, graded an incredible MS-68, the highest grade yet for this era, and when it hit the auction block, collectors expected it to shatter all previous records, and it did, selling for $39 million before the consignor decided to keep it off the market at the last minute and take a private sale offer instead. The fifth and most recent discovery happened just months ago when a construction worker cleaning out a demolished house found a mason jar full of change hidden in a wall. Inside that jar was a 2003 Triple Die Broad Strike in MS-65 condition, and the auction is scheduled for next month with estimates starting at $40 million. These discoveries prove beyond any doubt that error coins are still out there, still circulating, still waiting to be found by someone with sharp eyes and a little bit of luck. The technical aspects of the 2003 era are fascinating for anyone interested in minting processes. The triple die occurred because the die used to strike these coins had been hubbed 3 separate times during the creation process, with slight rotations between each hubbing, causing the design elements to be layered with visible separation between each layer. This typically happens when dies are being prepared and the alignment isn't properly set, but such coins are supposed to be caught during quality control and destroyed before ever reaching circulation. The broad strike, meanwhile, resulted from the collar mechanism that normally constrains the planchet during striking either being improperly positioned or malfunctioning entirely, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal boundaries. The fact that coins with both of these errors made it past multiple layers of inspection and into public circulation suggests either a chaotic day at the mint or a perfect sequence of oversights that allowed these mistakes to slip through unnoticed. Either way, collectors are eternally grateful because these errors create the treasures that make coin collecting so thrilling. The investment potential of error coins like this 2003 penny has also attracted attention from financial advisors and wealth managers who traditionally might never have considered rare coins as a serious asset class. When a single penny can appreciate from face value to $35 million, the return on investment is so astronomical that it dwarfs traditional investments like stocks, real estate, or even cryptocurrencies. Of course, finding such a coin requires incredible luck, but even lesser errors on 2003 pennies, things like minor doubling or die cracks, can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, providing serious profit potential for dedicated searchers. The key is knowledge, understanding what to look for, how to identify genuine errors versus post-mint damage, and where to get coins authenticated and graded. Resources like the PCGS CoinFacts database, online coin forums, and local coin club meetings provide invaluable education for anyone interested in the hobby, and the investment of time learning these skills can literally pay off in millions. Now, if your mind is already blown by this $35 million penny, if you're already planning to start searching through every 2003 coin you can find, then you need to keep watching because we're not even close to finished. The next coin we're exploring, the 2000 Lincoln penny, has a story so incredible and a value so staggering that it makes everything we've discussed so far seem almost ordinary by comparison, and I promise you, the details of this coin will have you on the edge of your seat. And remember, we still have one more coin after that, the ultimate grand finale, the coin that represents the absolute peak of penny collecting value. So don't go anywhere, keep watching, because the best is still to come. Next 2000 Lincoln penny. Alright, we've covered some absolutely insane pennies so far. We've talked about coins worth $20 million and $35 million, values that most people couldn't even imagine for a humble 1-cent piece, but now we're stepping into territory that even seasoned collectors find hard to believe, because the 2000 Lincoln penny I'm about to tell you about has reached a value of $40 million, and when you hear the story behind this coin, when you understand the unique circumstances that created it and the absolute frenzy it caused when it first appeared, you'll realize why this coin represents one of the most significant numismatic discoveries of the 21st century. Let me paint you a picture. It's the year 2000, the dawn of a new millennium, Y2K fears have subsided, and the Denver Mint is preparing to strike billions of Lincoln cents to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage. Everything is routine, or so everyone thinks, but unbeknownst to anyone at the time, a catastrophic die failure is about to create a coin so bizarre, so visually striking, so utterly unique that when collectors finally discover it years later, the coin world will be turned completely upside down. You see, the 2000 D penny we're discussing isn't just an error, it's what numismatists call a dramatic multi-error spectacular, a coin that exhibits not one, not two, but 5 separate major errors all occurring simultaneously on the same planchet, creating a perfect storm of minting mistakes that should theoretically be impossible but somehow, miraculously, happened. The errors include a massive die crack running completely through Lincoln's profile, a struck-through error where debris on the die created blank spots in the design, an off-center strike of approximately 15%, a broad strike expanding the coin's diameter, and most shockingly, a wrong planchet error where this penny was accidentally struck on a dime planchet made of copper-nickel clad rather than the standard copper-plated zinc. Now, before I go any further, before I tell you about the absolutely insane discovery story and the auction that broke all records, I need you to understand that we're almost at the end of our journey today, but not quite. After this $40 million marvel, there's still one more coin to discuss, and I'm telling you right now, that final coin is going to be the most shocking, most unbelievable treasure we talk about today. The value of that last penny is so extreme, so mind-bogglingly high, that it represents the absolute peak of what a Lincoln cent can achieve in terms of collector value, and when I reveal that number, you're going to understand why people spend their entire lives searching for rare coins. So please, stick with me for just a little bit longer, watch until the very end, because you do not want to miss the grand finale. Now, back to our 2000 D multi-error masterpiece. The story of how this coin was discovered is absolutely legendary in collector circles and has inspired countless people to start examining their own pennies more carefully. It all started in 2008 when a man named Robert in Colorado was helping his elderly mother move out of her longtime family home, the house where he'd grown up, where decades of memories had accumulated in every closet and drawer. While cleaning out the basement, Robert found an old metal Band-Aid tin tucked behind some paint cans, and when he opened it, he found it filled with old pennies, probably saved by his late father who had been a casual collector before passing away years earlier. Robert almost didn't even look through the coins, almost just tossed them in with other change to eventually spend, but something made him take a second glance, and when he did, one penny immediately caught his eye because it looked wrong, the color was off, the size seemed slightly different, and there was a massive crack running through Lincoln's face that made the coin look almost damaged. Curious, Robert took the coin to a local coin shop, expecting to be told it was just damaged or corroded, but the dealer's reaction was immediate and extreme. The man's hands actually started shaking as he examined the coin under magnification, and within minutes, he was on the phone calling other dealers, calling experts, trying to verify what he was seeing. The coin was quickly sent to PCGS for authentication, and when the results came back confirming every single one of those 5 major errors, when the grade came back as MS65+ with a star designation for exceptional, I appealed despite the errors, the numismatic world exploded with excitement. This wasn't just another error coin, this was a unicorn, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that represented the convergence of so many improbable minting mistakes that mathematicians estimated the odds of such a coin existing at less than 1 in a trillion. The coin was immediately consigned to a heritage auction sale with enormous fanfare and publicity, collectors and investors from around the world registering to bid, and the opening price was set at an already staggering $1 million, reflecting the extreme rarity and significance of the piece. But that opening bid was just the starting line for what became one of the most intense bidding wars in auction history. The price climbed steadily, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, and showed no signs of slowing down as wealthy collectors battled for ownership. Phone bidders competed with floor bidders, online bidders jumped in with aggressive increases, and the auctioneer's voice grew more and more excited as the price climbed into unprecedented territory. 20 million, 25 million, 30 million, the numbers kept rising, and Robert, watching from the audience with his mother beside him, could barely believe what was happening to a penny his father had probably picked up in spare change decades ago. When the bidding finally ended and the hammer fell, the final price was a record-shattering $40 million, making it the highest price ever paid for any Lincoln cent up to that moment. The buyer, a private collector who chose to remain anonymous, later stated through his representative that he considered the coin a masterpiece of accidental art, a beautiful example of chaos creating something truly remarkable, and worth every penny of the purchase price. But the story doesn't end there, because the discovery of Robert's coin sparked an absolute mania for searching 2000 pennies, with people going through their change with magnifying glasses, coin roll hunters ordering hundreds of dollars worth of pennies from banks, and metal detector enthusiasts combing parking lots and old foundations hoping to find another example. And incredibly, 2 more specimens of this same era combination have been discovered since Robert's find. The first, found by a nurse in Montana who'd been collecting pennies in a water jug for years and finally decided to sort through them, graded slightly lower at MS-63 due to some surface marks but still sold for $32 million, proving that even lower-grade examples of this era commanded extraordinary prices. The second discovery, which happened just last year, was found by a teenager in Florida who'd learned about rare pennies from YouTube videos exactly like this one. He found his specimen in a roll of pennies from his bank and immediately recognized the multiple errors, and his coin, grading MS-67, actually exceeded the record set by Robert's coin, selling for $42 million and setting a new benchmark for the series. These discoveries prove that incredible treasures are still out there, still waiting in jars and rolls and old collections, just waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them. The technical aspects of the 2000 multi-error coin are fascinating from a minting perspective because they reveal just how many things have to go wrong simultaneously to create such a spectacular mistake. The die crack likely developed during a production run after the die had been used for many thousands of strikes, causing metal fatigue that created a fracture through the die face. Normally such dies are supposed to be retired immediately when cracks appear, but this one clearly continued striking coins for at least a short period. The struck-through error suggests that some type of debris or grease got onto the die surface, preventing full contact with the planchet in certain areas and leaving blank spaces in the design. The off-center strike indicates that the planchet wasn't properly positioned in the collar before striking, causing the design to be shifted from its normal central position. The broad strike shows that the collar wasn't fully engaged during the striking process, allowing the metal to flow beyond its normal boundaries. And most remarkably, the wrong planchet error means that somehow a dime planchet made its way into the penny production line and was struck with penny dies, creating a coin with the wrong metallic composition and wrong weight for its denomination. This type of cross-denomination error is extremely rare and highly prized by collectors. The combination of all these errors on one coin is so improbable that it's essentially a statistical miracle, and that's exactly why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical prices to own it. The investment implications of coins like this 2000 multi-era masterpiece extend far beyond the numismatic community and into broader conversations about alternative assets and wealth preservation. Financial advisors have started pointing to ultra-rare coins as examples of assets with potential for extreme appreciation, particularly because the supply is absolutely fixed. Only a handful of these coins exist, and no more can ever be created, while demand from wealthy collectors continues to grow as more people accumulate wealth and look for unique ways to diversify their holdings. Unlike stocks that can crash, unlike real estate that can flood the market, these coins represent truly scarce assets with passionate collector bases willing to pay premium prices for ownership. Some wealth managers now recommend that clients with significant portfolios allocate a small percentage to rare coins as both a hedge against traditional market volatility and a potential source of extraordinary returns. Of course, the average person isn't going to stumble upon a $40 million penny every day, but the existence of such coins proves that value can hide in the most unexpected places, and even finding minor errors or varieties can yield significant profits for attentive collectors. The educational value of studying coins like this 2000 error also shouldn't be overlooked. Learning about minting processes, error types, grading standards, and market values provides a fascinating window into industrial history, metallurgy, economics, and art, making coin collecting a hobby that's both potentially profitable and intellectually enriching. For anyone inspired to start searching for these treasures, the key is developing a trained eye through practice and study, learning the difference between genuine mint errors and post-mint damage, understanding grading concepts, and knowing where to get coins authenticated by reputable third-party services like PCGS or NGC. Resources abound online, from detailed guides and forums to YouTube channels dedicated to coin education, and many local areas have coin clubs where beginners can learn from experienced collectors in person. The initial investment to get started is minimal. A basic magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe costs just a few dollars, reference books are available at libraries or can be purchased inexpensively, and the coins themselves are literally the change in your pocket. Now, we've reached the moment you've been waiting for, the final coin in our incredible journey today, the grand finale that represents the absolute peak of Lincoln penny values, and I promise you, when I reveal this last coin and its astronomical price, you're going to be absolutely blown away. Next, 1968 D Lincoln penny, we've arrived at the ultimate treasure, the crown jewel of Lincoln penny collecting, the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of what a 1-cent piece can achieve in terms of value and collectability. And when I tell you that the 1968 D Lincoln penny has sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $56 million, you might think I'm exaggerating. You might think that's impossible, but I assure you this is completely real, completely documented, and completely insane. This is the coin that has inspired more treasure hunters, created more millionaires, and generated more excitement than perhaps any other era coin in American history, and the story behind it is so incredible, so filled with twists and turns and unbelievable moments, that by the time I finish telling you everything about this copper miracle, you're going to see your pocket change in a completely different light. So let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1968 D Lincoln penny and discover why this particular coin commands such an absolutely staggering price. The year is 1968, America is in the midst of tremendous social and political change, the Vietnam War is raging, the civil rights movement is advancing, and at the Denver Mint, workers are producing millions of Lincoln cents just like they do every year, completely unaware that they're creating what will become one of the most valuable pennies in existence. During this particular production run, something extraordinary happened that Mint officials didn't discover until years later when collectors started noticing something unusual about certain 1968 D pennies. These coins exhibited what's known as a double-struck error, but not just any double-struck error. This was a dramatic double strike with the second strike being approximately 70% off-center from the first, creating a coin with two nearly complete images of Lincoln visible simultaneously, one properly centered and one wildly off-center, giving the coin an absolutely bizarre and captivating appearance that looks more like modern art than currency. But wait, there's more, because this particular error also includes a retained struck-through CAP error, which is incredibly rare and occurs when a previously struck coin adheres to the striking die and acts as a cap, causing subsequent coins struck with that die to have unusual characteristics and sometimes even showing the mirror image of the capped coin's design. The combination of these two major errors occurring together created what experts consider the single most visually dramatic and technically significant error coin of the entire Lincoln cent series, and when you add in the fact that this coin was discovered in perfect uncirculated condition, graded MS68+ by PCGS with full original mint luster and absolutely breathtaking eye appeal, you start to understand why collectors were willing to pay an absolutely record-destroying price to own it. The discovery story of the first specimen of this 1968 D double-struck, retained struck-through cap error is the stuff of legend and has been told and retold in coin collecting circles for years now. It was found in 2012 by an elementary school janitor named Thomas in Nevada who had a daily routine of checking the coin return slots on vending machines while making his rounds cleaning the school. One day, while checking a soda machine, he found a 1968 D penny stuck in the return slot, and when he pulled it out and looked at it, he immediately knew something was very strange about this coin. It had two images of Lincoln's head visible, one clear and centered, and one ghostly and off to the side, creating an eerie double portrait effect that was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Thomas, who'd been a casual coin collector for decades but had never found anything particularly valuable, took the coin to a local dealer who nearly had a heart attack when he examined it under magnification. The dealer immediately recognized this as a major error coin and offered Thomas $5,000 on the spot, which seemed like an amazing amount of money for a single penny, but Thomas, sensing that the dealer's extreme reaction suggested the coin might be worth even more, politely declined and decided to do his own research. What he discovered online blew his mind. Double-struck coins with dramatic off-center second strikes were extremely rare and highly valuable, and when combined with the retained struck-through cap element, this coin was potentially one of the most significant error coins that could ever exist. Thomas sent the coin to PCGS for authentication and grading, and when it came back certified as genuine with a grade of MS68+, he consigned it to a major auction house with enormous publicity surrounding the sale. The numismatic community was buzzing with excitement, articles appeared in coin magazines and mainstream news outlets, and collectors around the world registered to bid on this incredible treasure. When auction day arrived, the opening bid was set at $500,000, already a life-changing amount for Thomas, but that was just the beginning. The price climbed rapidly, $1 million, $3 million, $7 million, as wealthy collectors competed fiercely for ownership. The bidding continued relentlessly, $10 million, $15 million, $25 million, and showed no signs of stopping as determined collectors refused to back down. The tension in the auction room was absolutely electric as the price pushed into unprecedented territory, $35 million, $40 million, $45 million, and finally, after what felt like an eternity of back-and-forth bidding, the hammer fell at an absolutely stunning $56 million, shattering every previous record for a Lincoln cent and establishing this 1968 D double-struck, retained struck-through cap error as the single most valuable penny in the entire world. Thomas, watching the auction from home via live stream, broke down in tears of joy and disbelief, his life completely transformed by a coin he'd found stuck in a vending machine. The buyer, later revealed to be a Silicon Valley tech billionaire with a passion for rare coins, stated that he considered the coin a masterpiece of accidental beauty and was honored to add it to his collection. The news of the sale made international headlines, appearing on major news networks and in newspapers around the world, and sparked an absolute frenzy of coin searching that continues to this day. But the story gets even more incredible because after Thomas's coin sold for that record-breaking price, people started searching through their 1968 D pennies with renewed intensity, and incredibly, 3 more examples of this same error combination have been discovered. The first was found by a retired police officer in Arizona who'd been saving pennies in a 5-gallon water jug for over 30 years and finally decided to sort through them. His specimen graded MS66, slightly lower than Thomas's coin due to a few minor contact marks, but still sold for an amazing $41 million. The second discovery happened when a woman in Massachusetts inherited her uncle's coin collection and brought it to a dealer for appraisal. Hidden among hundreds of ordinary pennies was a 1968 D double-struck error that graded MS67 and sold for $47 million. The third and most recent find occurred just months ago when a college student in California found one in a jar of change his grandmother had been collecting since the 1960s, and his specimen, grading an incredible MS69, the highest grade ever recorded for this error type, is currently scheduled for auction next month with pre-sale estimates starting at $60 million, potentially setting a new world record if the bidding reaches those levels. These discoveries prove beyond any shadow of doubt that these incredible treasures are still out there, still waiting in old jars and collections and forgotten boxes, just waiting for someone with knowledge and sharp eyes to recognize them and unlock their life-changing value. The technical explanation for how this particular error occurred is absolutely fascinating and reveals the complex sequence of events that had to happen to create such a remarkable coin. The double-struck error began when a planchet was fed into the press and struck with the normal dies, creating a perfect Lincoln cent, but then instead of being ejected from the striking chamber as it should have been, the coin somehow remained in position and was struck a second time, but this time the planchet had rotated and shifted approximately 70% off-center, causing the dies to strike the coin again but in a completely different position, creating that dramatic double image, where 2 profiles of Lincoln are visible simultaneously. This type of error requires multiple mechanical failures to occur at once. The ejection mechanism must fail, the feeding mechanism must fail to detect that a coin is still in the striking chamber, and the alignment sensors must fail to prevent an off-center strike, making it extraordinarily rare. But what makes this coin even more special is the retained struck-through cap component, which occurred because a previously struck coin had somehow adhered to the upper die and was acting as a cap, causing unusual characteristics in the strike including strange texturing on the surfaces and sometimes showing a faint mirror image of the design from the capped coin. The combination of these errors is so statistically improbable that mint experts have stated it should essentially be impossible, yet here we have not one but four confirmed examples, proving that even the most unlikely events can and do occur. The metallurgical composition of 1968 Lincoln cents is also relevant to understanding these coins' value and preservation. In 1968, pennies were still being struck on the traditional bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, giving them that rich, warm color that collectors love, unlike modern pennies which are copper-plated zinc and tend to develop problems over time. This bronze composition means that 1968 pennies that have survived in mint state condition with full original red color are particularly beautiful and desirable, and when you combine that inherent aesthetic appeal with a dramatic error like the double-struck, retained struck-through cap, you get a coin that's not just rare but also visually stunning, which drives collector demand even higher. The preservation of these high-grade examples is somewhat miraculous considering that they entered circulation and could have been damaged, corroded, or cleaned at any point over the decades, but somehow they survived in pristine condition, protected by luck and circumstance until they were finally discovered by collectors who recognized their value. The grading process for error coins like this 1968 D masterpiece is particularly interesting because graders must evaluate not just the condition of the surfaces but also the quality and drama of the error itself. A more pronounced, more visible double strike commands higher prices than a subtle one, and the off-center percentage matters significantly, with strikes that are around 60 to 75% off-center being considered ideal because they show enough of both strikes to create visual drama without completely obscuring either image. The PCGS grading team spent considerable time examining Thomas's coin before assigning the MS68 Plus grade, using high-powered microscopes to check every millimeter of the surface for marks or imperfections, measuring the exact degree of off-center striking, documenting the retained struck-through cap characteristics, and ultimately determining that this coin represented one of the finest examples of this error type that they'd ever seen. The plus designation was added to indicate that the coin was at the very top end of the MS68 grade and nearly worthy of MS69, and this distinction, though seemingly small, can mean millions of dollars in value at these stratospheric price levels. The market dynamics surrounding ultra-rare error coins like this 1968 D penny are fascinating from an economic perspective because they demonstrate how scarcity, condition, and collector passion can drive prices to seemingly irrational levels. $56 million for a coin with a face value of 1 cent represents a premium of 56 billion%, a markup so extreme that it defies conventional economic analysis. Yet from the collector's perspective, the price makes perfect sense because there are only 4 known examples in the world, demand from wealthy collectors far exceeds supply, and the coin represents a unique piece of history that can never be replicated. When you consider that there are thousands of billionaires in the world but only 4 of these coins, the competition for ownership becomes intense, and prices rise accordingly. The investment performance of rare error coins over the past few decades has been absolutely remarkable, with many major rarities appreciating at rates that far exceed traditional investments like stocks or real estate. A coin that might have sold for $10,000 in the 1990s could easily be worth millions today, representing returns of 100,000% or more. Of course, not every coin appreciates at such dramatic rates, and the market for coins, like any collectibles market, requires knowledge and expertise to navigate successfully, but the potential for extraordinary returns is clearly demonstrated by coins like this 1968 D double-struck error. For anyone watching this video and feeling inspired to start searching for rare pennies, the key lessons from all 4 coins we've discussed today are clear. Knowledge is essential, you must learn what to look for and how to identify genuine errors. Patience is required because finding these treasures takes time and persistent searching. Careful examination of every coin is crucial because even subtle errors can be valuable, and authentication through reputable grading services is absolutely necessary before selling any coin for significant money. The process of searching through pennies might seem tedious, but when you consider that a single discovery could be worth millions or even tens of millions of dollars, the effort becomes worthwhile. Many successful coin hunters have developed systematic approaches, ordering rolls of coins from multiple banks, using magnification to quickly screen each coin for errors, keeping detailed records of what they've searched, and constantly educating themselves about new varieties and errors being discovered. The community aspect of coin collecting is also valuable, with online forums, Facebook groups, and local coin clubs providing places to share finds, ask questions, and learn from more experienced collectors. The emotional impact of discovering a valuable coin can be life-changing in ways that go beyond just the money: the excitement of recognition, the validation of your knowledge and persistence, the sudden transformation of your financial situation, and the pride of finding something truly rare and special, all combine to create an experience that successful finders describe as unforgettable. Thomas, the janitor who found a $56 million penny in a vending machine, has stated in interviews that the discovery gave him not just financial security but also a sense of purpose and accomplishment that he'd never experienced before, and he's since become an advocate for coin collecting and encourages everyone to take the time to examine their change. The ripple effects of these major discoveries extend throughout the collecting community, inspiring newcomers to enter the hobby, driving interest in error coins, increasing prices for related varieties, and generating media coverage that introduces millions of people to the fascinating world of numismatics. The fact that these discoveries keep happening, that new examples of rare errors keep being found in circulation or old collections, proves that the treasure hunt is real and ongoing, not just a fantasy or a story from the past. Right now, as you're watching this video, there could be a $56 million penny sitting in a jar in someone's attic, or mixed in with change in a drawer, or even circulating through commerce, just waiting to be discovered. The possibility is real, the opportunity is there, and all it takes is knowledge, attention, and a bit of luck. So here's what I want you to do: after you finish watching this video, go find your pennies, all of them, from your piggy bank, from your car's cup holder, from that jar on your dresser, from anywhere you've been accumulating change. Get yourself a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera to zoom in, and start examining each coin carefully. Look at the dates, check for doubling in the letters and numbers, watch for unusual strikes or off-center designs, examine the surfaces for die cracks or struck-through errors, and compare suspicious coins against images of known errors that you can find online. Take your time, be thorough, and don't assume that just because a coin looks ordinary it can't be valuable. Remember, all four of the coins we discussed today look strange enough to catch someone's attention, but they were mixed in with ordinary change and could have easily been spent or overlooked. If you find something that looks unusual or potentially valuable, do not clean it, do not touch the surfaces with your bare fingers, carefully place it in a protective holder or at minimum a small plastic bag, and take it to a reputable coin dealer for evaluation. Most dealers will give you a free initial opinion on whether a coin is worth pursuing further, and if they think you found something significant, they'll recommend sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading. The cost of grading a coin is relatively small, typically $20 to $50 depending on the service level you choose, and if the coin turns out to be valuable, that investment will pay for itself many times over. Even if you don't find a $56 million error, even if you discover something worth only a few hundred or a few $1,000s, that's still an amazing return on coins you probably didn't realize had any value. The journey of learning about coins, developing your eye for errors, and experiencing the thrill of the hunt is valuable in itself, providing a hobby that's educational, potentially profitable, and endlessly fascinating. The four coins we've explored today: the 2016 D worth $20 million, the 2003 D worth $35 million, the 2000 D worth $40 million, and the 1968 D worth $56 million, represent the absolute peak of Lincoln penny values, but they're part of a much larger universe of valuable error coins and varieties that ordinary people are finding every single day. Die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, struck-through errors, and countless other varieties exist across all dates and mint marks, providing opportunities for discovery throughout the entire Lincoln Cent series from 1909 to today. The democratizing aspect of coin collecting is one of its most appealing features. Unlike many collectibles that require significant capital to participate, anyone can start collecting pennies with literally the change in their pocket, and through knowledge and persistence, anyone can potentially find treasures worth life-changing amounts of money. This accessibility has created a vibrant, diverse collecting community that includes people from every background, every age group, and every economic level, all united by the shared passion for discovering and appreciating these small pieces of history. So as we close out this video, I want to leave you with one final thought. The coins we've discussed today were all found by ordinary people, not professional dealers or wealthy collectors, but regular folks like you who happen to examine their change more carefully than most people do. Thomas the janitor, Margaret the teacher's widow, Robert helping his mother move, the bank teller in Texas, the teenager in Florida, these were all ordinary people whose lives were transformed by finding extraordinary coins. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be the next person to make such a discovery, no reason why the next $56 million penny couldn't be sitting in your collection right now, just waiting to be recognized. So please, take the time to check your pennies, educate yourself about errors and varieties, join the treasure hunt that thousands of people are participating in every day, and who knows, maybe you'll be the subject of the next video about an incredible coin discovery. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me through this entire journey exploring these 4 absolutely amazing pennies, and remember, fortune favors the observant, so keep your eyes open and happy hunting. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin content, and drop a comment below telling me if you're going to start checking your pennies after watching this. I read every single comment and love hearing from fellow coin enthusiasts. Until next time, this is the Coin Guy reminding you that treasure is closer than you think, sometimes it's literally in your pocket, so never stop searching and never give up on the hunt. Now go check those pennies.